Welcome back. Well, today we had 10 Rebel News reporters in the field, and by that I mean on the road, on the highway, at the top of a utility bucket, looking down at the crowd. The CBC has their $1.5 billion a year grant from Justin Trudeau. We have working class people saying, hey, can we give you a crane shot? That's how we roll here at Rebel News. 10 staff, and one of them is our friend Tamara Ugolini, who joins us now via Skype from her vehicle in Port Hope, Ontario. Is that where you are, Port Hope?
That's where I am, Ezra. Yeah, the 401 and Highway 28.
So for folks who are not from Ontario, what is that, north, east, west from Toronto? Which direction?
Yeah, so I'm about 100 kilometers east of Toronto.
Got it. So obviously that's the eastern strand. The phrase I've used is like a bunch of threads being weaved together in a rope. You had strands coming from Quebec, from the far north, two different strands in Alberta meeting up. So it's all, everyone's converging in Ottawa. To say there's one convoy is not quite accurate. It's a bunch of convoys meeting up, right?
That's correct, yes.
Tell me about the bucket shot. I didn't see that until I saw your tweet about it, and it made me smile. Who was that? What did he say? And what did you see from up there in the bucket?
Yeah, well, I wish that the bucket had have been here just 45 minutes, an hour later, because the crowd grew exponentially from the time that I got into that utility bucket. And I'm just going to let you know, I see there are some trucks showing up here. So they were supposed to be rolling through at 2 p.m. I think it's now a couple hours thereafter. There's been several road closures and some accidents because the weather is terrible here. And so they had to kind of detour up and around north and come back. So they're kind of trickling in. I'm just keeping my eye out to see what's happening there. But back to the bucket. Yeah. So I just wanted to get a higher up shot from where I was. So this is a truck stop. And then I would say, I don't know, about 7 kilometers south of here is the actual 401 with the overpass. And there was, I estimate at least 100, maybe a couple hundred gathered there. And so I wanted to try to assess that scene a little bit better. And I just went up to them, and the foreman there, he saw my mic. And so he right away was familiar with Rebel News and the reporting and the coverage. And I said, hey, would you mind if I hopped in that bucket? And they said, hey, absolutely, come on in. And so I cozied up with that gentleman there, and he lifted us up, and we got some good shots.
Well, that's pretty friendly. I love the fact that he was familiar with Rebel News. Our marketing budget, as you know, Tamara, is precisely zero. I mean, it's like seriously a trickle compared to the 1.5 billion that the CBC gets. But I think people know that we're real and are authentic. And the fact that we have citizen journalists, we're not as slick as the big guys, but people can trust us. And I think that's why they're so warm to us. I really think this has become a mainstream phenomenon. I don't think it's just activists anymore. I think this has electrified the country, and it's given ordinary people something to join, if not in their own car, join on the side of the road, cheering, join, people were given the opportunity of chipping into the crowd fund online, just joining in saying, that's my team, go team, because they haven't had that movement. Certainly it hasn't been led by any political party, which it normally would be. I see Elon Musk tweeting in his support. I haven't seen any Canadian business tycoons do that. So we've really had a void. I think this convoy has really filled it. Yeah.
I think that it becomes less taboo now to speak out against the widely accepted narrative. And as that, I like to call it the groundswell. As that groundswell happens, you see more and more people now feeling more comfortable to stand up and come out and express their concerns. I know here at well, it's not little, actually, there's several hundred people here throughout the last few hours. There is a business owner here giving coffee and hot beverages out to the attendees, and of course, intermittently the truckers as they kind of trickle through. So I think that as that shift happens and the pendulum swings to it being less fringy, as our dear Prime Minister put it so kindly yesterday or the day before, to hold these views which he deems unacceptable, I think that more and more people now are banding together and saying enough is enough.
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.